718. Now, this is a very interesting and, troubling topic. Influencers have become a part of the marketing conversation. I've spoken to a couple of them, and they can be very clever and sell their products very well. But sometimes poor advice can be given out, often, yes, on the social media, when it's not vetted properly. Well, ASIC is one of 16 regulators around the world cracking down on unlawful Finfluencers. So that's targeting younger audiences on financial matters. The young ones, not all that au fait with the best information, can sometimes make a very poor financial decision. Well, Gareth Croy from Your Future Strategy was keen to have a chat with us and put the record straight on how young people can receive the right financial advice. And Gareth's on the line. Morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Tell us about the Finfluencers. I mean, young people are getting bombarded with God knows how much information. Tell us about them.
Well, I think it needs to be put into context. I don't think necessarily sharing information is a bad thing. It's just understanding its education, understanding concepts as opposed to getting advice that might be specific or relevant to the individual that's watching it.
Isn't it a concern, though, when they're getting it from the social media? As we know, sometimes that can be misinformation, disinformation, and even AI.
Yeah, and that's why the regulator's concerned about it, is that the people providing the advice aren't actually appropriately qualified to actually go through these concepts. Maybe they don't actually understand them themselves.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see a bit of that happening where we've got people coming and talking to us thinking they've got the full set of knowledge, but they've only got part of the story because the person who's provided it isn't qualified to have provided the information they did.
Yeah, and our young people are very vulnerable, aren't they? And, they get most of their information off the social media, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and I think the concern is that they can't differentiate between someone who's providing qualified advice and someone who doesn't have that qualification to provide it.
Yeah, Gareth, tell us about your organisation. Tell us about Your Future Strategy. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so we're licensed financial advisors, but we're a multidiscipline practice, so we are professionals in a number of different areas. But, yeah, the differentiator is that we always consider the individual or couple or household and their circumstances. So, like any good financial advisor, the way we approach strategies and plans is specific to the clients that we're talking to. So no two clients are the same, which means that we need to interpret their circumstances as to what's appropriate.
Yeah, important, isn't it? I mean, my boys, I have to say, tend to still come to me and their mum if they've got a question along those lines, but I'm sure many don't. So is it important for parents and grandparents to understand this and alert their younger family members of what the dangers may be?
Yes, it is. And I guess the easy context is, what might be appropriate for a 20-year-old is probably not going to be the same investment strategy for someone in their 60s. And so it's not that it's wrong, it's just understanding what's appropriate for different stages of life, what we're trying to achieve, whether it's growth or income. All of those factors need to be considered, which is why licensed financial advisors should be consulted rather than just sort of general advice from one of these influencers.
Yeah, and getting diverted away from the social media. And look, young people have got, HECS debts and tax to worry about, and planning for the future, wanting to buy if they can afford all of those things, and making all sorts of decisions about their finances, their super. And I suppose when you're a young person, let's say, in your 20s, I mean, super's, 40 or 50 years away, and you probably think, oh, well, I don't need to worry about that. But you probably need to worry about all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. The longer the runway, the more impact we can have.
Yeah.
And quite often there's a lot of decision-making to be had. And, the decisions about whether it's important to pay down debt or whether that extra money should be put into investments, they're all important decisions that can have a fairly big impact over a long period of time.
Are we able to find out amongst these Finfluencers how many actual shonks there are?
Well, that's the regulator's focus at the moment,
yeah, right.
to really hone in on who is qualified and who isn't by issuing these notices. I suspect that there'll be some action taken if those unauthorised influencers aren't sort of considering the notices provided.
Well, young people probably tend to not be listening to a radio station like ours, but I think the message has to get through to mum and dad and grandparents, because, sometimes the young person could be, on the social media and making that decision independent of mum and dad and their grandparents because, I won't ask mum and dad because I've got this advice here, but be careful is what we're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And look, as an organisation, we use social media too. So it's not it's a bad tool. It's just that it's great for education, but interpretation of that, what that means for the specific person or family, is what an advisor's for. So, AI is also used quite a lot. Not great at creating specific plans either, but really good for education. So, asking AI to explain to someone in their 20s what debt recycling is about, it does a good job, but it then needs to be, is that actually appropriate for me or not?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and it's terrific that ASIC and the regulators are on top of it, and thank you for your time, and we'd find you, I'm sure, if we just Googled your future strategy, yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, thank you, Gareth. Gareth